Take a deep breath. Now, slowly. Look at your hand, not just with your eyes, but with your soul. Do you see it? That letter M, that delicate curve of a crescent moon hiding beneath your skin? Maybe it's bold and clear. Maybe it's faint, barely noticeable, like a whisper from beyond. But you've sensed it, haven't you? That strange pull, that knowing you couldn't explain. And perhaps, for most of your life, you've been told to ignore it, to silence the part of you that believed there could be something more, that maybe you were different, set apart, marked. If that resonates, if some quiet part of you just said, yes, that's me, then understand something now with absolute clarity. You didn't find this video, it found you. Because the truth is, nothing in your life has ever been random. Not the way you've always felt things before they happened. Not the way strangers look at you like they've met you before. Not the way you never quite fit into the ordinary world, no matter how hard you tried. And certainly, not the markings on your hand. Ancient wisdom and sacred scriptures agree on this. The hand is not just a tool. It is a temple, a sacred map, a place where the divine inscribes mysteries the world has forgotten how to read. And if you carry the M or the crescent moon, even faintly, you're not just different. You're chosen. You're here on purpose. And the world has been waiting for you to remember who you are. You've likely felt it all your life. You walk into a room and the energy shifts. Children stare at you with wide eyes. Animals feel drawn to you. Time bends around you. Your body reacts before your mind understands. You're not crazy. You're not too sensitive. You're not imagining it. You're activated, and that activation is written in the very skin of your hands. But here's the part no one told you. These marks are not decorations. They are instructions. And today, you're going to learn how to read them, not just to understand, but to awaken. Because what comes next isn't a theory. It's a spiritual turning point, a key, passed down through time, waiting to be placed in your hand. And now, it's in front of you. But before we open that door, let me invite you to do something sacred. Right now, type the number 111. In the comments, this isn't a gimmick, it's a signal. A divine yes sent straight into the quantum field. Because 111 represents alignment, spiritual awakening, and divine timing. And by typing it, you are saying, I'm ready. I see the sign. I accept the call. Let your body respond to what your spirit already knows. Let the universe hear your whisper and echo it back in miracles. And if something about this message has already touched a nerve, if your heart is beating faster, if your skin is tingling, if tears are rising without explanation, then don't leave quietly. Subscribe now. This isn't just a channel, it's a sanctuary, a place where the marked and the awakened gather to remember why they came. You are not here to consume content. You are here to activate your calling. So breathe, listen, and stay with me. Because what you're about to discover will change the way you look at your hands, at your body, at your destiny. This isn't just a message, it's a moment, and your soul has waited lifetimes for it. Let your eyes rest gently upon your own hand, not with judgment, not in passing, but with reverence. Look beyond the skin, beyond what seems random or biological, because in truth, nothing about you was placed here by accident, especially not the intricate lines woven into your palm. Perhaps you've noticed it before, that faint yet undeniable shape of an M formed where your deepest lines cross and meet. Or maybe your eyes have caught the curve of a half moon, tucked gently beneath your thumb or rising near the base of your palm, a mark you've seen 1,000 times but never understood. You may have dismissed it as coincidence, or you may have always felt it meant something more, even when you didn't know what. The truth is, these markings are not ornaments. They are messages, they are seals, they are spiritual confirmations, etched not by man, but by the invisible hand of the Creator, the same hand that formed you in the secret place and whispered you into existence with divine purpose. In ancient times, before the world was obsessed with logic and noise, hands were seen as sacred instruments. In Scripture, they were the place where miracles began. God parted seas, healed the sick, and sealed covenants, all through hands. And in Isaiah 49:16, God speaks not in poetry, but in absolute clarity. I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. Engraved, not written, not suggested, engraved. As one engraves stone, as one seals identity permanently into something eternal. What's even more profound is that this sacred act, this divine inscription, was not one-sided. You were not only engraved upon God's hands. In turn, he engraved something into yours. These lines, these symbols, these shapes, they are not decorative. They are encoded memory. They are your soul's coordinates. They are the language of your calling. When the mark of an M appears in the hand, it is more than geometry. It is the meeting place of wisdom, love, and divine direction. Not just in theory, but in your lived experience. People with this mark often carry an innate depth of thought, a natural emotional intelligence, and an unshakable sense that their life must follow a path of meaning. Even when the world pressures them to conform, something within refuses. They cannot live small. They cannot pretend. Their spirit resists silence, not out of pride, but because it remembers something sacred, something they haven't yet put into words. The crescent moon, on the other hand, reveals something even more mystical. It appears most often in those who carry light into dark places, people who can walk into emotional chaos and somehow remain still. Their presence calms. Their silence speaks. And when they listen, they hear not just words, but energy. This mark is found in those who carry a softness that is not weakness, but a spiritual strength, rooted in their ability to reflect divine truth without force. Their very body becomes a conduit. Their hands are not simply tools, they are antennas, and when both of these marks, the M and the crescent, appear in the same hand, the message becomes undeniable. You are not simply intuitive, you are not merely different, you are commissioned. Your energy is not an accident, your sensitivity is not a flaw. You were designed as an anchor between realms, chosen to carry frequencies that this world has long forgotten how to hear. You shift rooms, you stir memory in others, you walk into spaces, and something invisible begins to reorganize. You are not imagining this, you are activating it. Perhaps you felt it all your life, a sense of being somewhere else, even while surrounded by people. You've smiled when it was expected, played your roles as asked, but beneath it all, there was always that ancient flicker, that quiet pulse, that inner fire that whispered, "This isn't all there is. I came here for more." And you were right. That whisper was not delusion, it was remembrance. Because the marks in your hands are not proof of strangeness. They are proof of sacredness. Heaven wrote your assignment into your body, and now you are awakening to what has always been waiting for you. These are not random lines. They are letters from God, etched into flesh, so that you would never forget who you are, even when the world tries to make you forget. You are marked, you are sealed, and the language written into your hand is no longer waiting to be discovered. It is waiting to be activated. There is something sacred in the way your presence enters a room. It's not about appearance. It's not about volume. It's not even about charisma in the traditional sense. It's something deeper, something unspoken. As if the very air itself remembers something when you step into a space. And for a brief moment, reality pauses. People may glance sideways, their thoughts momentarily suspended. Conversations may slow without any obvious reason. The atmosphere itself shifts, and you feel it, even if you try to ignore it. Even if you've spent your whole life pretending not to notice, you have always known. You were never like the others. Perhaps you spent years trying to blend in, folding your light, dimming your fire, walking into rooms hoping no one would feel your frequency too loudly. And yet no matter what you do, you are noticed, not because of what you wear, not because of how you move, but because of what moves through you. Your very existence emits a current, an ancient pulse, that some souls recognize even if they can't explain why. That's not vanity, That's vibration. That's frequency. That's the truth of what it means to be a conduit. You are not here to create energy from nothing. You are here to channel something eternal, to hold it, to carry it. And in moments when the veil between this world and the unseen grows thin, that energy passes through you like light through stained glass. You are a vessel of resonance, a tuning fork for the sacred. And the universe has always known it. That is why your silence speaks louder than words. That is why others feel either incredibly safe around you or deeply uncomfortable. You reflect something back to them they may not be ready to see. You've probably felt the exhaustion that comes from being in a crowded room, not because you're antisocial, not because you dislike people, but because your system is always reading, always receiving, always processing signals that others don't even realize they're sending. You pick up emotional static like a radio, catching every station at once. You feel people's fear, even when they smile. You notice hesitation in their breath, longing in their posture, sorrow in their jokes. And it's not something you've trained. It's something you were born with. Your nervous system is not ordinary. Your spiritual antenna has always been extended. You don't just enter environments, you merge with them. And in doing so, your body becomes the translation point between heaven and earth. Your skin responds to shifts in energy the way trees respond to wind, silently but clearly. Your body knows what's true before your mind can find the words. You walk through a door and feel the tension in the walls. You touch an object and sense the residue of who held it last. You hear someone speak and know they're hiding something. It's not paranoia, it's perception. And yet, for much of your life, you may have believed this sensitivity was a flaw. You may have wondered why certain people drained you, why bright lights or loud noises made your body feel electric, why some places left you feeling unexplainably heavy. You may have even been told you were too emotional, too intense, too dramatic. But here's the truth. You were never too much. The world was simply too numb to meet your level of depth. You are not designed for the shallow. You are the deep end of the pool. And that is precisely why the energy around you bends. It bends because it recognizes truth, because it senses alignment, because the field of reality, when met with someone who is fully present, fully activated, cannot remain the same. You are a divine disruptor, a reminder, a spark in a system that was asleep. And when people feel your presence, it's not always comfortable, but it is always awakening. You are not here to entertain. You are not here to convince. You are here to remind others of what they've forgotten, to bring sacred codes back into places that lost their sound, to reignite memory in the hearts of the weary. This is why children stare at you longer than usual. They haven't yet forgotten how to recognize light. This is why animals linger at your side. They don't need language to feel safety. This is why strangers tell you their secrets. Somewhere inside them, a part still remembers that you are safe, that you are true, that you are anchored in something older than time, and yet this gift has cost you. There have been days where you wished you could turn it off, mornings where your sensitivity felt like a curse, moments where the weight of carrying other people's emotions nearly broke your spirit. But the reason it hurts is because it's real. The pain, the fatigue, the longing to disappear, they are signs of depth, not weakness. And the more you try to escape your sensitivity, the louder the universe will call you back. Because your gift is not a glitch, it's a gateway. And only when you accept it fully can it be transmuted from burden into brilliance. You are not here to be like everyone else. You are here to be a mirror, a walking reflection of the divine. You disrupt rooms not because you're arrogant, but because your soul refuses to play small. You shake people not because you try to, but because the truth in you confronts the illusion in them. You awaken memory in others just by existing. And that, beloved, is a sacred assignment. You don't just carry light. You are the portal through which light re-enters the room. Before a thought even forms, before you can find the words to describe what you feel, your body has already spoken. It whispers through a sudden chill along your spine, It speaks through that strange tightness in your chest when something isn't right. It pulses through your hands, glowing with warmth when you're aligned, or going numb when you're not. This is not imagination. This is the divine speaking through flesh. And you, chosen one, have been feeling it all your life. You were born with a sacred system, a mystic nervous system, finely attuned not to this world, but to the world beyond the veil. Your body is not merely a physical instrument. It is a receptor, a decoder of divine messages. When you enter a place and feel unease before seeing anything wrong, that's not fear, that's forewarning. When you meet someone and sense without reason that they carry truth or danger, that's not judgment, that's discernment. And when your hands tingle during prayer, or your eyes well with tears at the sound of certain words, that's not emotion, that's resonance. There is intelligence in your skin, there is memory in your bones. You are not designed to operate from logic alone. In fact, your mind was never meant to lead, it was meant to follow the wisdom of the body. And for those, like you, those marked, those chosen, this body awareness is amplified. It's as if your entire system came here remembering the sacred and has spent your whole life trying to get your attention. But in a world obsessed with intellect, you were told to ignore this power, to trust books over breath, data over discernment. You were taught to silence your body's truth so that you could fit the mold, but the mold was never yours. You were not made to think your way through this life. You were made to feel your way through it, and let your feelings guide you toward your divine path. This is why certain places make you dizzy, why your breath shortens around specific people, why your energy expands in the presence of love and contracts in the face of hidden lies. Your body responds not to appearances, but to essence, and no matter how many times you've tried to rationalize it, the truth remains. Your nervous system is not an accident. It is an oracle. There are moments when you feel something shift in your body before the moment even happens. You don't know why, but you suddenly grow still. A tingling starts in your palms. A cold breeze brushes your skin, though there's no wind. You look around and nothing has changed, but everything feels different. And then, minutes later, something happens. A message arrives. A stranger appears. A revelation lands in your heart. That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. Your body felt it first. And yet, despite how often this happens, you may still doubt it. You may second-guess your instincts, waiting for logic to give you permission. But here's the sacred truth. The body doesn't ask for proof, because it is the proof. Heaven designed you this way for a reason, so that even in the chaos of this world you could still navigate through spirit-led signals encoded in your flesh. There's a reason why healers, prophets, mystics, and visionaries throughout history have spoken of sacred embodiment. It is not enough to understand truth intellectually. It must be felt in your blood, known in your bones, embodied in every cell. And you, chosen one, are being called now to trust the knowing that lives beneath your thoughts. You are not crazy for sensing what others miss. You are not broken for feeling too much. You're not weak for crying during sunsets or trembling in moments of truth. You are aligned. And here's something I want you to do right now, if you've ever felt your body trying to speak to you before your mind could explain it. If you've ever felt energy move through your spine, your chest, your hands, I want you to write in the comments, "I feel it now." Those 3 words are powerful. They are not just comments, they are confirmations. Sacred declarations to the universe that you are listening, that you are aware, that you are ready, because you do feel it now, even in this very moment. As these words reach you, something in your chest tightens with truth. Something inside you whispers, yes, this is it. You may not have all the answers yet, but you have this moment. And this moment is everything. The body does not lie. The body cannot lie. And once you begin to trust it, your life will no longer be guided by confusion, but by divine clarity flowing through your skin. So pause, breathe, feel. Your nervous system is not broken. It is blessed, and it has been guiding you home all along. Have you ever wondered why you are the way you are? Why your heart aches when others feel nothing? Why silence sometimes feels louder than sound? why you sense the spiritual weight of a room before a word is even spoken. These are not quirks. They are not emotional overflows or signs of fragility. They are evidence, living proof, that your very design was intentional, sacred, and crafted with precision by something far greater than this world. From the moment you were conceived, before your first breath, before your first heartbeat, a blueprint was placed upon your being, not a generic one, not a recycled pattern, but a divine architecture, singular in design, eternal in purpose. Every detail of your existence, your emotions, your empathy, your spiritual radar, your restlessness, your yearning for more was chosen for a reason. You were not a random arrangement of cells. You are the embodiment of a divine idea. There is no part of you that is accidental. Your intensity is not a flaw. Your sensitivity is not a mistake. Your longing for something beyond the material, that ache that stirs in your soul even on your happiest days. That is the voice of the blueprint calling you back to remembrance. You were not made to chase what the world calls success. You were made to carry light into darkness, to disturb what is false, and to awaken what has been forgotten. When you look at your hand and see the faint curve of a crescent or the bold form of an M, understand this. The divine chose that very space on your palm as a sacred canvas. These are not random lines. They are inscriptions, seals placed on your skin as reminders that your story was written long before the world tried to define you. And when you feel a tug in your chest as you hear these words, that's not just resonance. That is recognition. The blueprint within you responds to truth. It always has. That is why the ordinary world feels so heavy, so artificial. You were not built to thrive in systems of distraction, competition, and illusion. Your soul was not wired for surface-level living. You were constructed with a different vibration, one that tunes itself not to noise, but to divine harmony. And the beauty of it all is this: you don't need to earn what you were born with. You don't need to chase or force your calling. The design has already been placed within you. All that's required is remembrance, a return to what was always yours. And that remembrance begins when you stop trying to become something and start allowing yourself to simply be. There is a reason why your presence changes the atmosphere, why some people are comforted by you without knowing why others are triggered, afraid, or envious even when you say nothing. The blueprint within you radiates something eternal. It exposes what is false and confirms what is real. You are a walking mirror, not because you reflect people's appearances, but because you reflect their truth. And just as a building cannot argue with the hands that built it, you must stop arguing with the way you were formed. You are not too much. You are not too different. You are exactly as you were meant to be, not according to the world, but according to the kingdom. In Isaiah 49:16, God declares, "I have engraved you on the palms of my hands." This is not poetry. This is divine reality. If you are engraved in the hands of God, then surely your hands, made in His image, also carry inscriptions of purpose. You are a mirror of the divine, a reflection of something infinite housed in the frame of a finite body. And every fiber of you, from breath to bone, was chosen. This is why you feel the call even when you don't have the words. This is why your dreams carry symbols, your intuition speaks in pulses, and your spirit yearns for silence and sacredness. Because you remember what the world has forgotten. You carry the blueprint. Let this truth sink into you now. You were not made to fit. You were made to reveal. You were not made to conform. You were made to restore. And though you've spent years trying to shrink yourself to make others comfortable, the time for that has ended. The blueprint within you is expanding, and no amount of pretending can contain it anymore. You were formed to disrupt the darkness, not with noise but with presence, not with argument but with energy, not with force but with frequency. The same frequency that carved galaxies into the cosmos has been humming inside your soul since the beginning. And now, it's awakening. This is not just identity, it's destiny, and you are finally remembering who you were designed to be. Let's pause, not just to reflect, but to truly feel what's happened here. Because if you've made it this far, something in you has undeniably shifted. Maybe it was subtle, a pulse in your chest, a warmth in your hands, a stillness that quieted everything around you. Or maybe it was loud, a tear you didn't expect, a memory that resurfaced, a fire that began to rise within. Either way, you didn't just listen, you remembered. This was never just a video, it was a doorway, a sacred mirror, a spiritual invitation. You came here thinking you were curious, but your soul knew better. It brought you here because the time to awaken had finally arrived. And now, you can't unsee it. You can't unfeel it. The marks on your hands, the half moon, the M, are no longer empty shapes. They are sealed promises. Evidence that the divine wrote your name into the story of this world with intention, purpose, and light. All your life, you've carried this silent knowing that you were different, that the noise of this world never made sense, that the shallow couldn't satisfy, that something sacred was humming beneath the surface of your days. And now, you have words for it. Now you have language. Now you have proof. You weren't born to blend in. You were sent to break the pattern, to be the living contradiction to everything false and artificial. You are not here to simply survive this world. You are here to transform it by remembering who you are. And from this moment forward, that remembrance becomes your anchor. You may not know exactly what comes next, and that's okay. You don't need all the answers. You only need to follow the resonance, to trust what your spirit knows, even when your mind doesn't. Because when your soul is aligned, the path makes itself known. And right now it is unfolding beneath your feet. This is your sacred beginning. The fire has been lit, the seal has been awakened, and the world will never see you the same again. So let this be more than a moment. Let it be your rebirth. And if this message touched something deep in your spirit, if you felt seen, remembered, ignited, then this is your place. This is your family. Subscribe now so you never lose connection to the truth that was awakened in you today. This isn't just a channel. It's a sacred gathering, a space for the called, the marked, the risen. And one last thing. If your heart stirred while watching this, let it speak. Drop a comment below. Tell the world, I remember. That simple phrase might just wake up someone else who's been waiting for this exact moment. Because together, we're not just remembering. We're rising, and what has been awakened in you today will never go back to sleep.